This is what's on Mike's mind. Hello to one and all. It is the 24th of January today. And the Hall of Fame ballot came out. We have 3 guys going into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And the more I think about this stuff, the more I have to say about each one. When Grego was in here a couple days ago, we went over some of it. But you know me. If it has to do with a great game, the more I think about it, the more into it I get. So a little bit more on each of these guys. First, let's start with CC Sabathia, because he is probably the least controversial of the bunch. CC Sabathia was a pitcher for many years, primarily with the Indians, also played for the Brewers, played for the Yankees, and he was a horse. He was a big guy, and he pitched innings, and every time that you were going to go into a series against one of his teams and you were going to face him, you knew that there was a greater than 0 chance you were going to not win that game. And that's the way he was. He was just very dependable, good almost every time out. There's a pretty fair amount of black on his statistical page on the Baseball Reference. And he is a very deserving first ballot Hall of Famer. Then there was Billy Wagner, the longtime closer, primarily with the Astros. He had 422 career saves. Now, it's really hard for closers to get voted into the Hall of Fame for certain metaphysical reasons that are much too detailed to go into here. But just know and understand that if you were a closer, you got to really be great to get into the Hall of Fame. Billy Wagner did, but he did it on his 10th and final trip on the ballot of the Hall of Fame. In other words, if he didn't get in this year, then he falls into the hands of the Veterans Committee. And who knows when it might happen. But Billy Wagner was a dominant closer for many years for every team he played for. Like I say, he was primarily an Astro. I'm sure that's the cap he'll wear, but he had a few swims with some other teams, and he was good with all of them. He was very consistent, and he is in the Hall of Fame. The third guy to go into the Hall of Fame is Ichiro, and here's where things get a little sticky. The Baseball Hall of Fame is the province of the Baseball Writers Association of America. This is primarily their toy. They're the only ones who vote in it. There are no broadcasters, no executives, no former executives, no fans, no anything. They think that baseball writers are the only ones who are objective enough to cast an objective Hall of Fame vote. Hence, this is their province, and it has been for all these years. Now, is that fair? I don't know. I'm past making a big deal out of this. It's not a hill I wish to die on any longer. But I think broadcasters should be included too. Broadcasters see as much baseball as baseball writers do, but that'll probably never happen because baseball writers feel that broadcasters' objectivity is sometimes compromised because they, in their view, the view of the writers, think that baseball broadcasters are a little bit more prone to get close and develop closer relationships with players than they do, which I don't know if that's necessarily true, because I've seen a lot of baseball writers have very close relationships with players, but nevertheless, that's been the common baseball thought all these years, that broadcasters are not included in this because they get too close and too cozy with players. And the baseball writers want sheer 100% objectivity. Which brings us around to what happened this time. For you to get into the Hall of Fame as a unanimous vote, voted in by all 480 some odd guys who vote on this thing, it's very rare. It has been done once and only once. Ichiro missed out on being a unanimous Hall of Famer by one vote. And you got to consider that there are well over 400 votes cast. And to one guy out there, these are all done anonymously, to one guy out there, Ichiro was not a Hall of Famer. The only guy who's ever been a unanimous 100% Hall of Famer was Mariano Rivera, the Yankees closer. And Derek Jeter also missed out by one vote. And now Ichiro joins him in that category. But Ichiro was good-humored about it. He said today, he made it known today, that he would like to find out who that is because he wants to buy him a drink. So hopefully, whoever this baseball writer is can anonymously get a hold of Ichiro and say, hey, it was me. And they can go out and enjoy a nice drink. But I don't see how anybody could have watched Ichiro play and not thought they were watching a Hall of Famer. Really, that's the only criteria for me. I mean, statistics count and all that, and longevity counts, and the ability to perform in pressure situations counts. But the thing I look at most when it comes to the Hall of Fame is one simple question. Am I watching a Hall of Famer here? And if the answer is yes, then to me, he's a Hall of Famer. If it's no, then he's not. That varies a little bit. It can change. I can think a guy is not a Hall of Famer, but then watch him enough to where he brings me around. Sometimes after his career is over, I'll start to think differently of him, and I'll think that the whole time I was watching that guy, I never thought I was watching a Hall of Famer, but now you look back on what he did and you see that, no, this is on you, pal. You got this wrong. That is a Hall of Famer. And if you didn't see him as such, then the anus is on you. But yes, Billy Wagner, Ichiro, CC Sabathia, all Hall of Famers, all worthy as far as this one roving eye is concerned. That has been What's on Mike's Mind for today. Thanks for watching, man.
All right. I'm going to go take my pants off.
Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.